Hi guys, I'm Charlie Book Fanatic. Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to do the coffee book tag. This tag was originally created by Benjamin from Bangity Bangs, and I will leave his channel down below. And I was tagged by Heather from Heather Forever Books, and I will also leave her channel down below. I love her energy. She is always happy and smiling and ultimately really crazy, but I really love her channel and I would love for you to check her channel out. Yes, I did dye my hair. Thank you for noticing. Question 1. Black. Name a series that's tough to get into but has hardcore fans. For this question, I chose the Kingkiller Chronicles by Patrick Rothfuss. This is the author of The Name of the Wind and The Wise Man's Fear. Both books I had on my shelf, but I got rid of in my book Unhaul, which I will also link down below if you would like to check that out. But I tried reading The Name of the Wind and I really couldn't get into it. It was way too slow for me. It's about a man who sits in a tavern and starts telling a story about his life to someone, and I was just so not interested. It was so slow paced and it took me forever to even get 100 pages done, and if you know how thick the book is, it's really fucking thick. So I can't do it. But there are so many people who love this series, and always when I talk about the series, people are saying you need to give it another chance because it is amazing and it will get better, and it starts really slow, but it's so good, and I'm like, sorry guys, I can't do it. Maybe in the future, but not right now. 2. Peppermint Mocha. Name a book that gets more popular during the winter or a festive time of year. For this one I chose 2 books. The first one is a series, and that is the Harry Potter series by J.K. Rowling. Seriously, the Harry Potter series is popular during the entire year, but when the Christmas time, like winter time, rolls around, everyone goes crazy about this because there is Christmas in the Harry Potter books and everyone is excited about reading them because it just feels very wintry to them. I can't say much about it. I only read the first book and I wasn't a big fan of it, so I am not particularly interested at this point in time to continue on with the series, but maybe later because everyone is raving about it and it has been popular for so many years. And the second one is a collection of short stories that is also very popular during winter time. I think it came out 2 years ago or 1 year ago, and it is My True Love Gave to Me, edited by Stephanie Perkins. It's a short story collection from all popular authors. I haven't read it again, but it is really popular and everyone keeps talking about it during winter time, especially around the time when it came out last year or the year before. The third question is hot chocolate. What is your favorite children's book? And I had a very hard time with this question, I'm not gonna lie, because I am Dutch, and obviously when I was little I couldn't read in English because Dutch is my main language and I learned English when I was older. So I picked a book I read at this age when I was a teenager, but it's still a middle grade book, and that is A Paper Things by Jennifer Richard Jacobson. This is a book about a homeless boy and a homeless girl. They leave their foster mom and go around begging on the streets, and it's very, very sad, but also I recognized my relationship with my brother in it and I thought it was bittersweet, and I gave it 4 stars and I really liked it. I thought, normally I don't read middle grade because I feel like it's too immature for me, but I really liked the premise of the story and I wanted to give it a chance, and I ultimately didn't regret it because I think it did give me more respect for the homeless and a deeper understanding of being homeless and not always having a choice. 4 is A Double Shot of Espresso. Name a book that kept you on the edge of your seat from start to finish. I've been raving about this book since the moment I read it recently, and it is Illuminae by Amie Kaufman and Kristoff. If you haven't read it, go read it. It is amazing. Everything what everyone has been saying is true. I think the format of this book made it more creepy and made it more action-packed, and I want to know how this would end, especially the second half of the book where you discover something, that some plot twists happen, and I honestly wanted to know how it ended, and I couldn't put this one down. I needed to know, and I loved all the relationships in it, and just so good. Starbucks. Name a book you see everywhere. And for this one, I didn't have to think long at all. It is A Call of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas, which is the second book in the A Court of Thorns and Roses trilogy, and honestly, you see this one everywhere because it recently came out and everyone has been raving about it. I just finished today A Court of Thorns and Roses, and I rated it 3 stars. I didn't think it was that exciting. I didn't think the story was that great, to be honest. I'm not team anyone. I really wanted to be team Tamlin or team Rhys. I was team Tamlin at the beginning of the story, but then Rhys came in and I'm just like, I don't really know so far. So I hope A Court of Mist and Fury is as great as everyone says it is, because they say it's so much better than A Court of Thorns and Roses. So I am going to read A Court of Mist and Fury, but I've been seeing it everywhere and everyone has been saying great things about it, so I want to give that one a chance. That Hipster Coffee Shop. Give a book by an indie author a shout out. And I had a hard time finding a book that is by an indie author, but I went with one I haven't read yet, and that is The Deal, which is the first book in the Off-Campus series by Elle Kennedy. This is a new adult series that takes place in college, and a college girl meets a college boy. You know, that is why the series is called Off-Campus. So I am really into new adult. I haven't read this one, but I've heard great things from people who read new adult on their channels and talk about it on their channels, and I honestly want to read this series because it has been praised very highly by a lot of people, and I want to read more new adult that I will love. So I want to give this one a chance, and I wanted to give it a shout out. So maybe if you didn't know about the series, which is a very low chance of, because it's a really popular series in the new adult genre, but if you haven't heard of it, maybe you do now and you want to read it. Oops, I accidentally got decaf. Name a book you were expecting more from. And for this one I chose Confess by Colleen Hoover. It was the first Colleen Hoover book I read. I think I read it last month, and I rated it 2-3 stars. I didn't think it was that great. I had a lot of problems with it. I talked about my weekly reading vlog from a couple of weeks ago when I read it, and I was really disappointed with it. I expected so much from it because everyone was raving about Colleen Hoover, but after reading 2 of her other books, I realized I shouldn't have started with Confess, because her other 2 books I have read I have really enjoyed, which were Ugly Love and Maybe Someday, which is a new favorite of mine. I finished it yesterday and honestly I sobbed while finishing it. It's just so great, and I'm just sad that I started with Confess, but also glad because I think it could only go up from there. And then finally, question 8, The Perfect Blend. Name a book or series that was both bitter and sweet but ultimately satisfying. And for this one I'm going to name a book that I name in almost every tag video I do, and that's Stolen, A Letter to My Captor by Lucy Christopher. This is the perfect bittersweet but ultimately satisfying ending you could think of. This ending was so realistic and made me cry a lot. It was bitter, it was sweet, but ultimately it was the most realistic ending I have read in a long time, and I read this in 2014 for the first time. If you haven't read Stolen, even after all of my recommendations in my past videos, please do it. It's honestly worth it. So this was the coffee book tag. I am not a huge coffee drinker, but if I drink coffee, I drink coffee with 3 sugars in it and a whole bucket load of milk, because I can't stand black coffee. I can't stand it. I almost throw up when I drink it. Honest. Go down below any of your answers to these questions. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Just let me know. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.